So here we are with Healing You with Gloria Liebecker, and I'm Gloria's co-host, Gail Donahue. And today we're going to talk about Gloria and I and some of our own healing journeys that we've been on. So Gloria, please.
Yeah. Well, it's been an incredible journey of growth and self-discovery. And recently things were going really smooth and I felt like I was on top of the world. But then out of nowhere, I felt like I got sucker punched right in my breadbasket. I don't know if people know what that is, but that's what I grew up hearing, right in your solar plex. And when that happened, thankfully, I was able to reach out to you, and you were able to catch my experience and create a container that helped me to explore it and get really honest with myself. And there was a lot of resonance there. And
Yeah.
how was that for you when I reached out like that? Did you recognize anything? What was obvious?
Well, I mean, what was obvious was it's so gift giving to me to be supportive. That's one sort of aside from that, but then in terms of the journey, it was like, oh my gosh, I've been there too. The context was different, but the same kind of like out of the blue, getting sucker punched, feeling like what's happened and being blindsided, so that it takes me away from the journey that I was on of feeling this momentum, feeling this excitement, feeling this fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was like I recognized when I was talking with you that the things that were in the shadow for me were really old patterns, relics of my past that were telling me things like, oh, you're just an outsider. Nobody really likes you. You can't say anything right. You don't get anything right. You don't even belong. You're just a failure. What are some of the voices that you hear when that happens?
Yeah, tick. You're a failure. You don't know what you're doing. You're not getting it right. You're not helping enough. Just go back and I don't know, do the dishes or something.
Right, get away from there.
Yeah, but that phrase, who do you think you are? I
Yeah,
mean, that's such a big one that comes in my mind. Who do you think you
right.
are?
And then there's that weight of insecurity and self-doubt that just bears down on you and threatens to undo all your progress.
Mm-hmm.
But when we take a moment and we actually check in, and it helps so many times to reach out, as I did with Gail, to reach out and to be honest about what you are experiencing so you can feel that resonance with your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
taking that moment to check in with your heart, with your spirit.
And I think this is a great example, Gloria, of how what we can't do this alone all the time. We need other people to help us, to support us. And that's, one of the beauties of the program that we offer is that you have other people and community to help you.
Right. Well, we were created for relationship, and that's so important. So we take the time for the relationship with ourselves and we check in with our heart and we step through that little process that we have to become heart-centered. We can begin to recognize that's not my true nature. You
Hmm.
know, that is an old pattern. That's a game changer there. When you recognize the pattern and you begin to take actions that are different than what the pattern has been, it's
Yeah.
to release that. We want to have that structural tension, but it's like cutting the rubber band we've talked about before, and it can catapult you back into your heart to have the clarity to see, well, when is my next action step to
Yeah.
take then?
Yeah. And I think for me, for in my journey, when I can stop and get into my heart and recognize it and see what's happening, it's like, oh my gosh, I gave so much of my power away. And there's, like why? Because when you can sit with it and acknowledge it and recognize it, you realize that, my goodness, the people that I was giving it away to, or the circumstances that I was giving it away to, they notice, like yeah, it didn't make any difference to them, but it sure made a big difference to me because I gave all my power away.
Well, and in those moments, I want to just hold with so much care that those patterns, when we're being run by the patterns, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different paradigm of life. And so being able to develop your skill sets to begin to recognize, to name, and to choose, those are all skill sets that most of us were never taught. I know I wasn't. And
No.
so I'm just like a fish in water right now, learning how to swim in this new paradigm because it frees me up, even when I don't feel like it. Even when I'm upset, even when it feels like I'm sucker punched, I can choose to take an action that helps me to realign with my heart. And so I want to thank you again, right here and now, for being available because, boy, it makes such a difference in my life. So thank you.
Yeah. Ah, you're so welcome. It's such a gift to be here on this journey with you and creating a whole new life.
Yes,
So
that's what it's all about. All right. Well, I look forward to our next conversation.
yes, bye for now.
Bye bye.